Hi there, I'm Bernadette or B. Welcome to this lower back session. So this is what I call Caspar's lower back program. And Caspar's my son. He spends a lot of time sitting at a chair working on a computer, and lately he's been complaining of soreness in his lower back. So I thought I'd put together a mixture of exercises, drawing mainly from Pilates, but with a little bit of yoga in there as well at the end. Just to begin with, because he's male and many people don't know what their pelvic floor is, I wanted to just quickly explain that. So let's imagine, fellows, that you're lifting your nuts to your guts. When you do that, that sensation is about activating or contracting the pelvic floor or lifting the pelvic floor. Ladies, I often liken it to if you're bursting to do a wee and you're holding onto that wee, those muscles that you use are your pelvic floor muscles. So they are the base of your core, or the floor of your core, it's often called. The other really important muscle to be aware of is that TVA, the transverse abdominis, which wraps around a little bit like a corset. And so when you gently draw the navel to your spine, then you've engaged your TVA. So if I say draw your navel to your spine or tummy in, and often I'll say draw your pubic bone to your navel, you're activating those that TVA. And then the third one that's probably really important to be aware of is imagine that you're sticking your chest out. Then what we do is we've popped the bottom ribs, the front of our ribs, we've popped them. So if you bring your hands to the base of your ribs at the front, and then just gently encourage your bottom ribs to the back of your body. Now you don't want to overdo it, so you don't want to come into a rounded sort of kyphotic, we're not going for that, we're just going for a little bit of an engagement, and you can feel that. Once you draw that in a bit, you can feel it in your upper abs. Okay. When to do this? I've suggested that he do it first thing in the morning. I think it's incredibly important if you're spending the day sitting, which so many of us are, spending the day sitting at a computer, at a desk, in a chair, that we activate the body. It's so critical for the body that we wake up and we move it. It's so critical for back health. So the worst thing we can do for our back is get up, have our shower, get dressed, sit down, have breakfast, and then go and sit down at the computer. Get up, have your shower, get dressed, have your breakfast or not, go for a walk, do some mobility work, then either have your breakfast or if you've had it, then go and sit at your computer. And remember to take regular breaks as well. And at the end of the day, I also have a lovely video for lower back stretches where you just lie down and you have a strap. So check that one out as well. Okay, let's get started. Please lie on your back, bend your legs, bring your feet roughly hip width apart, and just sort of lie there, get comfortable. Just check that your shoulders are on your back. So take your palms, they're near your body, but not next to you. Palms face up. And we're going to start with some pelvic rocking. So just slowly flatten your lower back so that you're pressing the lower back into the floor. And what you're doing is a posterior tilt. It's like you're pushing your pubic bone up to the sky. Then go the other way. Almost like you're pressing your pubic bone to the foot of the mat and arching the lower back. You might even feel a bit of an arch in the upper back as well. Do that two more times. So lower it, and then as you arch it, let's take a deep breath in. As you exhale, lower the back, flattening it all the way through. So this is a wonderful movement. Let's go one more time. Arch your back again. And then just find that neutral position. Now, in a neutral position with your pelvis, you should have that little, you should be able to bring your hand underneath and you've got that curve in your lower back. If you had a bowl of water, the water would be level. So if you flatten your back, which we need to be able to do, feel those abdominals engage, the water would pour forwards. If we arch the back, overly arch the back, the water would fall towards your feet. So you're trying to find that place in between. Take a breath in. And then exhale and tone the pelvic floor to about 25 to 30%. Draw the navel gently towards the spine. Now you've actually found your neutral pelvis. Stick your man or girl boobs up, so you arch your upper back, keep the pelvis neutral, and then gently encourage, even bringing the fingertips to the bottom of the front of the ribs, gently encourage those in a little bit. Back of the neck should have a curve, so you're not flat, but you're also not sticking your chin up and over. That's it. So you've got a curve at the back of the neck, curve in the lower back, and you feel that abdominal engagement. Take a breath in. Let's deliberately arch the back here. And then as you exhale, flatten the lower back and then peel your hips off the floor. Have a sense of peeling your back off the floor, going bone by bone. At the top, pause there. You should be in a fairly straight line, knee to hips to shoulders. Tone the front. So draw your ribs towards your bottom of the ribs to the hips, hips to the bottom of the ribs. In other words, tone the front of the body. So we don't want to just sort of pop the ribs up and arch here. We're going for this. Glutes are switched on. Breathe in. As you breathe out, gently lower down. So we want to go nice and slowly, articulating the spine. This is so good for the back because we're really just getting mobility into the back. Breathe in. Breathe out and arch the lower back and lift up. Breathe in at the top. As you breathe out, gently lower all the way down, bone by bone. So you can do this 3 to 5 times. I love doing this first thing in the morning. It really gets me sorted. From here, I'm going to wriggle forwards a little bit so I have a little bit more space. So check that you've got some space overhead. Keep your legs where they are. And then just bring your, with your arms beside you, so just take the right arm up and overhead. Take a breath in as you stretch out and do that. As you exhale, bring that right arm out to a T and then down beside your body. Do this a couple of times. Now, as you stretch the arm overhead, there might be a slight tendency for that right rib to pop up. So just a little bit of tone in those upper abdominals. Breathing in, stretch the arm up again. Exhale and bring that arm down. Let's go the other way. Right arm goes up to the side, up overhead as you breathe in. And then exhale as you bring it beside you. Inhale, stretching it out and up. Exhale as you bring it down. One more. Inhale, stretch it out and up. So we're mobilizing the upper back, getting the shoulders working now. Other side. Breathe in, stretch up and overhead. And then nice big circle as you bring it around and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So every time you bring that arm overhead, you need to be conscious of the tendency for the front of the ribs and the base of them to pop up. One more. And then let's go out to the side, reversing it. Inhale as you stretch it out to the side and up. Exhale as you bring it beside. Inhale, out and up. Exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Let's try both. Now when we go both, you've got to work those bottom ribs in. Inhaling as we take it up. Exhaling as we bring it around. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, round. So feel how the upper abs need to activate as you take it overhead. And reverse. Inhale as you take it around and up. Exhale as you bring it down. Still have our pelvic floor switched on. Still drawing the navel towards the spine. So there's stability in the lower pelvis. There's tone in the lower pelvis. Nice work. Let's try and mix it up a little bit now. Take a breath in. As you exhale, you're going to flatten the lower back and peel your spine off the floor, coming up into bridge pose. Pause there. Inhale as you stretch the right arm overhead, and then exhale as you stretch it all the way over your head, and just a nice stretch there. Breathe in. As you breathe out, just gently lower yourself bone by bone, coming all the way down. And I love this stretch because you get down to the bottom, find that neutral pelvis, draw the front of the right ribs in a little bit, and there's a lovely stretch on the right side of the body happening. Breathe in, and as you exhale, start to peel the hips back off the floor. Inhale as you take the right arm up, and then exhale as you lower it down. Let's go to the left arm. Breathe in as you stretch it up. Breathe out as you stretch it over your head. Inhale again, and as you exhale, bone by bone, articulating. And notice how much you need to really switch on the abs to just try and get your lower back down, bone by bone. Once you're there, find your neutral. The gap between the lower back is there. Breathe in. Exhale as you flatten the lower back and peel your spine back up. Breathe in as you take your arm up to the sky, and exhale as you lower.
Breathe in at the top and exhale, come all the way down. Now, of course, you can do that a few more times if you like, just depending on your body and what your body needs and what feels good. So remember, think about your body and what feels good. Now take your arms out to a T, lift one leg then the other to tabletop, bring the knees together, breathe in, tone through those deep core muscles. As you exhale, drop your knees to the right, breathe in there. Now as you exhale, lift your knees back up to center, and then as you inhale, drop your knees to the other side. So we don't want to collapse, so we don't drop the knees all together, we stay with that. Keep that opposite shoulder anchored. Coming up, breathing in as you lower down, exhale as you lift up. So on the effort phase, you want to lift up. The challenge here is to keep that opposite shoulder down. So we're now working the obliques. And at the same time, try and stay relaxed in those shoulders. Let's do one more time to the back, and then one more round to the front. Exhaling as you come up, inhaling as you lower. So the breath is really helpful. And then gently lower one foot, then the other. Nicely done. I can wriggle back a little bit now because I have a little bit more, I don't need space. Okay, next trick, for your next trick, bring one leg up to tabletop, then the other. Now what's going to happen here is there's going to be a pull. We're going to drop one heel then the other towards the mat. The tendency will be for the pelvis to rock, like we were doing in the beginning, only that was deliberate. We were controlling that. Now we need to be able to move our leg without taking the pelvis with it. So we've really got to engage those deep abdominal muscles. Flare the toes. Knees above hips, you want 90 degrees at the hips, 90 degrees at the knees. Flex the toes, draw the toes towards you. Good work. Tone the pelvic floor, draw the navel towards the spine, and even bring your hands to the top of your belly. What you don't want is for a little dome. You don't want your belly to push up to the sky. So inhale and lower the right leg down. Exhale and lift it up. Switch it over. Left heel down, exhale it up. As you bring that heel down, you've really got to work against that tendency of the pelvis to try and pull away. So this is where the strength of those deep core muscles comes into play. Now you can either keep going here, or you can take your arms up and do opposite arms. So if we go the right leg, the left arm goes overhead, thumb to the floor, inhale. Now what's happening here, now this is a little bit more advanced. What we're trying to do is not pop the ribs at the same time. Last one, right arm, left leg. And then release the arms and release the feet one after the other. Good work, have a little bit of a break here. Nicely done. Let me just, let's from here roll over and come onto all fours. The other thing that's really important about lower back work, when we're working the lower back, we want to make sure that we work the abdominals, the deep core muscles in particular. We want to work the glutes and we want to work the upper back. So we're going to move on to working the glutes. Come onto all fours. We're going to come into donkey kicks. When you come onto all fours, rather than hands and knees, bring your forearms down. Try not to bring your hands towards each other. We want the elbows underneath the shoulders. Palms are flat, and then bring the knees together. Just check that the knees are under the hips, so we don't want the knees forward, we don't want the knees backwards. And then just be mindful of the head here. So the tendency, the head's quite heavy, 3 to 5 kilos. The head can drop, so we want to tuck the chin in and look forwards. And then tone the pelvic floor, gently draw the navel to spine, not so much that you're rounding, but just so that you have the tone. And then take the right leg up, flexing, pulling the right toes towards the right knee, and lift the knee as high as you can, or lift the foot as high as you can. Keep the gaze forward, the face, the eyes gentle, and then let's do 16 donkey kicks here. Really working those glutes. As we kick up, we can exhale. Keep the forehead relaxed. And make sure that there's no movement in the trunk. So we don't want to be arching the back. The tendency is to arch the back and let it go when we kick up. We want to avoid that. Two more. Last one. And then keep it up there and let's do 16 pulses to the ceiling. So it's like there's an imaginary ceiling just above your foot and you're trying to tap onto it. Two more and then bring it down. Nice work. And what you can do is take a fist and just give yourself a little bit of a love there. A little bit of a pounding. All right, reset. Tuck your chin in, look forwards. Check also that you're not rounding in the upper back, so the shoulders are relaxed down the back. Pelvic floor switched on, navel to spine. Take the left leg up. Kick it up a little bit. And this is what I'm talking about. If you're watching, what you want to avoid is this action. You want to be so stable through the trunk, using those deep core muscles, that you can move your leg independently. Let's go. Remembering to keep those shoulders relaxed. The eyes soft, the forehead relaxed. Keep working on those deep core muscles, pelvic floor, navel to spine. Two more. And then take the leg up and lift it as high as you can. So the higher you lift it, the more you've got to work those abdominal muscles. And then pulse. And that's it, nicely done. And you can feel that when it's done well, you can feel that. There we go. So the reason I had a headphone on is so that I can use these earpods which keep falling out. Did I say headphone? Headband, whatever. Okay. All right, the next thing we're going to work on is the upper back. So come down onto your tummy. Just start by bringing one hand then the other onto the mat and rest your forehead for a bit. Let's just get the setup here. So legs stretch back, you're on the tops of your toes. Tone the muscles of your legs. Now not so much so that you lift your knees up, so you want the quads engaged, point the toes, keep everything nice and strong. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, draw in. So lift up on the pelvic floor, engage the pelvic floor. And imagine you're lifting your navel, your belly button off the floor. You might even press your pubic bone into the floor a little bit. That's our setup. So the number one thing here we're working on doing is keep lifting that belly button off the floor, the belly off the floor, the tummy off the floor, however you want to think of it. Keep that pelvic floor switched on as well. Take the arms out to cactus. So take them out to a T, bend the arms, pinky fingers are on the floor, thumbs are up to the sky. You're on your forehead and nose. Breathe in as you exhale, lift your head. Now, not all the way, just part of the way. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. That's it. Do two more of these. So we're working the neck muscles and a bit of the upper back muscles. Now stay up. Lift the right arm up a little and lower. And up again. And lower. Now, can you really feel how much you've got to work? Switch arms. Those abs to keep lifting that belly button off the floor. Okay, now you can stay with one arm then the other, or if you want a little bit more, lift both arms and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Now, at this point, I always need a little bit of a break. I find the upper back work the hardest to do. We tire easily, so take a break if you need it. Of course, if you're super strong, and some people are super strong in the upper back, then keep going, don't have a break. All right, next one, arms out to cactus, forehead and nose down. Let's take a breath in. As we exhale, engage. So activate the deep core muscles in the pelvic floor. Inhale and lift up your head. Take the left arm out to a T and the right arm out to a T. Then take the left arm down beside you so your fingers are pointing towards the left foot, the foot of the mat. Right arm points overhead. And then switch the arms around. Thumb is to the sky the whole way through. So we've got that lovely external rotation in the shoulders. That's it. So think of it almost like a windmill. And the key is keep that pelvic floor switched on. Don't press the tummy into the floor. Now take that right arm, both arms overhead, and then stretch the arms back and lift up. Now, if it's too hard with the arms overhead, just take it to a Y or a T and then pull back. Lovely strength work there. Inhale and exhale, lift up. One more, inhale, exhale, lift up. Nice work. Make a pillow with your hands and just rest and enjoy the rest. It's hard work and it's definitely worth doing. Okay. Keeping the forehead and nose down, press your hands into the floor, elbows to the sky, tuck the toes under, breathe in. As you breathe out, tone, and then exhale to a modified push-up. From your modified push-up, come up and then take the right leg behind you. We're now in a lunge. Just check that that back foot is straight back behind that left knee. Take your arms back and up, big breath in. Lock the thumbs so it's like this. Breathe in again. Now draw the bottom ribs in. Draw the front foot and the back knee towards each other. And then reach up as you exhale. Breathe in again. And as you exhale, stretch across. So you're opening up that left side body. Right hand comes to the outer right thigh. Left arm crosses over so that you come into a nice twist. So twists are really good for spinal mobility. And one of the things that happens when we sit in a desk and we're stationary for hour upon hour, our body just gets stuck in this position. Our spine stiffens up because we just are stuck. Muscles aren't moving. Nice deep breath in, lengthening the spine as you do, and as you exhale, twist. So push that left arm onto that right thigh, chin back, gaze to the ceiling if you can, otherwise straight ahead. Now the other thing is, folks, you can modify by having the left hand on the right knee, the right hand on the right hip. Just get really tall, breathe in, breathe out and twist. I call this the matador twist. Just watch that that left shoulder isn't rounding, so you want to draw it back. And then breathe in and switch sides. Left knee above the left ankle, how you going? Breathe in, stretch arms back. So I'm not even just taking the arms up, but we want to open up the chest, take the arms back. Inhale, lift up. Now remember the way that you lock the thumbs. See if you can lock them the other way. Exhale as you reach up and get tall. Here, what we're looking to do is create space between the vertebrae and the disc. So we want as much length as we can. And the interesting thing about that is, as we lengthen, we tone through that whole trunk. Breathe in again. As you breathe out, reach over towards that left leg. You've got that lovely. You might even feel a stretch on that top right thigh as well. Inhale again. As you exhale, left hand onto the outer thigh. Come into the full twist or the modified twist. Take a nice deep breath in. Lengthen here, so get super long. And then exhale as you twist. One of the things I often see people doing in these sorts of twists is they drop the chin. Don't drop the chin. Think length. So think about a pole, and what you do is you're twisting around the pole. The minute you drop your chin, you're actually curving the back of your neck, and you don't want that. You want that lovely twisting to be able to happen. Nice deep breath in again. And then exhale, push that right arm into the left thigh to twist. And remember, if you're doing the modified version, you get nice and tall, and then you exhale and twist and keep, no matter which variation you're doing, that right shoulder, that underneath shoulder, or the one you're twisting away from, stays on your back. As you inhale, come back to center. And then as you exhale, come back to all fours. Tuck your toes under, walk your toes back. So keep your toes tucked under. You want to be able to press your toes or your feet into the floor and get super strong. Keep your hips above your knees. We're coming into puppy pose. Stretch your arms out. Keep your elbows up. Tone the pelvic floor, navel gently towards the spine, drop down onto your forehead and nose. Now, if you're super stiff in the shoulders, take your hands a little wider. The key thing here is to lift your elbows up. Don't lift your let your elbows drop. You might get a really nice stretch in the upper back. You might get a nice stretch in the front of the body. I love this back bend, it's one of my favorites. Now, tone the pelvic floor, navel gently to spine. So you want to support your back by toning the front of the body. Nice deep breath in. As you exhale, have a sense of softening and releasing to the floor a little, like you're melting towards the floor. If you're a little more flexible, you can come onto your chin as long as you're not cricking the back of the neck. What you don't want is to be really scrunching the back of the neck. Think about the back of the neck always needing some space. And of course, more flexible people can come onto their chest, but this is for people with flexible backs, usually younger people. And then inhale, come all the way up. Walk forwards a little so that your hands are at the front of the mat. Step your right foot back. Pause there. Tuck your left toes under. Tone the pelvic floor. Draw the navel to your spine and tuck your chin in and look forwards a little. Breathe in. As you breathe out, push into that right foot as the left foot comes back. Breathe in here in your plank, bend your knees, and then push up into an inverted V, or in yoga we call it downward facing dog. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk in a little bit so that we can flatten the heels. So this is more of a Pilates inverted V, flattening the heels and stretching the backs of our legs, particularly the calves. Now, you can stay wider and your heels off. And for many people with tight lower backs, you're going to be better off with bent legs. In which case, try and wrinkle the mat up between your feet. Imagine you're wrinkling the mat up between your feet. And arch your back like you're pressing your pubic bone back towards behind you and up to the sky. So you'll feel your lower back curve. Keep that. Tone the pelvic floor. Navel to spine just a little. Draw the upper bottom ribs, the front of the ribs in a bit. And then stretch the crown of the head towards your hands. Of course, if you have the capacity to straighten your legs, go for it. Keep the legs nice and strong. And just really enjoy this lovely stretch. And then breathe in, come forwards to plank pose, lower the knees or come down from plank, but make sure that you come down in a way where your shoulders and hips arrive at the same time. So you're not sort of going hips first and then swanning down. That's not good for your back. Please roll over to your back. We're nearly there. We're going to do a really lovely twist, one of my favorite twists. Take your arms out to a T, palms up. So palms up is always a good thing because it helps you to draw your shoulders onto your back. Now press both feet into the floor, lift your hips and swing them towards the screen. Let's say you're swinging them to the right and then drop them down. So it'll feel a little weird. You've sort of made your body into a bit of a zigzag. You want this. So let's all do, swing your hips to the right. Turn the left toes out and you're on the outer edge of the left foot. Take the right leg across and bring the right foot to the mat. Now for some people, they can't bring the right foot to the mat. You can tuck the right foot behind you. And then just lift that left shoulder up a little. If you want a bit more on the neck, tip the left ear to the left shoulder and turn to the right. Turn your head to the right. Okay, so we've got this lovely spinal twist happening. What's critical here is we're spending time in this twist. If you were to look down on my body, or if I was to look down on your body, think about the spine being straight. And like I mentioned before on the pole, think about a pole and you're twisting around the pole. You don't want to bend the pole and then twist around it. So we want that spine to be nice and straight so that we're now twisting and we've got as much space between the vertebra and discs as we can. You can add a little bit more by bringing the left hand onto the right knee and just encouraging. So now you might be getting a nice little stretch on the outer right glutes, the outer right hip here as well. And this is a lovely twist. So you can spend 5 to 8 breaths here. As you breathe in, come out of the twist, bring the right foot back. Press into that right foot to lift and bring the hips back and bring that left foot back. So you're now back as you were. Press into the feet again, lift the hips off the mat, swing them to the left. And don't be afraid to feel a bit awkward. You need this. Stretch the right leg out and then take that left knee across your body. It's critical also that you don't let that other shoulder lift off. So the opposite shoulder to the knee stays tacked down. I will often wriggle my same shoulder up a little bit. You want to lengthen that underneath side of your body. And then tip the right ear to the right shoulder and look towards your left. That's just to get a nice little twist in your neck. Option to bring that hand on the knee just to sort of twist a little bit more. Super flexible people can get the knee and the foot down. Lots of people who are tight have them hovering. That's why I suggest if they're hovering, maybe just bring the foot behind the knee. And you can take the knee further, closer or further away, closer to the chest or further away. And then as you inhale, tone the abs and come back to center. Press the left foot and the right foot onto the mat and gently level up your hips. Often when you need to level up the hips, it's a good idea just to lift the head and look down the center of the body to see that that's level. And then bring the soles of the feet together and take the knees nice and wide. This is just opening up the inner thighs a little. Just to juice this up a little bit, you can stay here, or you can press your feet into the floor. Lift your hips up off the floor. Work on that anterior tilt. So arch the back a little, keep pressing the feet into the floor, and then lower the back like you're trying to get the inner thighs down. Now tone the pelvic floor, draw the navel gently towards the spine, the pubic bone gently towards the navel, and then press from the core of the pelvis out through the legs, almost like you feel that stretch on the inner thighs. Back of the neck is long, and there's that natural curve under the neck. So check that you have that. I've got a little ponytail sort of bun thing there. But I still have that space there. That's really critical. And come back to some nice deep breaths. You might even want to cross your hands, take your hands across and breathe into your ribs with your hands there. And then bring your hands to your belly and breathe into your belly. Relax your face, even close your eyes for a moment. And then maybe see if you can bring one hand to the sides of the ribs, keep one hand on the belly, and see if you can breathe into both. Breathe into the belly and expand the ribs laterally across. And very gently take your hands to the outer thighs, gently bring your knees together. You have two ways of coming up. If your back's good, you can bring your knees in and just start to rock forwards and backwards. So you'll have a flat bit, just gently come up that way. The other option is take one arm over your head and turn over towards that side. Press both hands into the floor and come up. Okay, so this was for Caspar. However, you can follow along too and enjoy it. And I really recommend that you do this first thing in the morning and give yourself a nice little some time for yourself, time for your body before you get up and do whatever you need to do, particularly if you're going to sit at your desk all day. Okay, namaste. Take care.